Are you kidding me right now? WWE just pulled off one of the most disgusting, most cowardly moves in recent memory, and I'm about to expose exactly why this Bron Breakker reveal is an absolute slap in the face to every single wrestling fan who's been following this storyline. You think you know what happened on SmackDown? Think again, because what they did to Jacob Fatu and what this means for the entire landscape of WWE is going to make your blood boil. Let me be crystal clear, Bron Breakker attacking Jacob Fatu backstage wasn't just some random assault. This was calculated, this was personal, and the way WWE has handled this entire situation proves they have no respect for continuity, no respect for their audience, and no respect for the Samoan dynasty that has carried this company on its back for decades. But before I tear this entire situation apart piece by piece, I need you to tell me something in the comments right now. Do you think Bron Breakker had any legitimate reason to attack Jacob Fatu, or is this just WWE throwing stuff at the wall hoping something sticks? Drop your answer below, because I guarantee you, by the end of this video, you're going to see this situation in a completely different light. Now, let's break down exactly what happened on SmackDown, because the devil is in the details, and WWE is counting on you not paying attention to those details. Jacob Fatu, one of the most dominant forces in professional wrestling today, a man who has decimated everyone put in front of him, was found laid out backstage. Medical staff rushing to the scene, cameras conveniently catching just enough footage to create drama but not enough to immediately identify the attacker. Classic WWE manipulation of the narrative, right? But here's where it gets interesting, and by interesting, I mean absolutely infuriating. The reveal that Bron Breakker was behind this attack comes at a time when Breakker has been floundering in the midcard, struggling to find his identity, and desperately needing something to make him relevant again. So what does WWE Creative do? They have him jump the most protected member of the bloodline from behind like an absolute coward. Let's talk about Bron Breakker for a second, because this is where the frustration really sets in. This is a second-generation superstar, the son of Rick Steiner, nephew of Scott Steiner, with all the pedigree and physical tools you could possibly want. The man is built like an absolute tank, moves like someone half his size, and has every reason to be a future world champion. But instead of building him up properly, instead of giving him meaningful feuds and character development, WWE has turned him into nothing more than a hired thug who attacks people from behind. Remember when Bron Breakker was in NXT? The man was unstoppable. He was the NXT champion, he was destroying everyone in his path, he had that killer instinct that made you believe he was going to be the guy when he hit the main roster. Fast forward to now, and what is he? He's the Intercontinental Champion who loses more non-title matches than he wins, who gets treated like an afterthought, and whose only storyline progression comes from attacking people backstage instead of proving himself in the ring where it actually matters. And now, here's the question that should be burning in your mind: why Jacob Fatu? Out of everyone on the SmackDown roster, why would Bron Breakker specifically target the one man who is directly connected to Roman Reigns, Solo Psycho, and the most powerful faction in WWE history? The answer is either WWE Creative is absolutely genius and has been planning something massive for months, or they literally drew names out of a hat and decided this made sense. I'll let you guess which one I think it is, but drop your theory in the comments. The timing of this attack is suspect, to say the least. Jacob Fatu has been building momentum as one of the most feared enforcers in the new bloodline. The man has been putting on absolute clinic performances every single week, showing the world why he was so highly sought after before coming to WWE. He's been protecting Solo Psycho, he's been destroying anyone who dares challenge the bloodline, and he's been doing it all with a viciousness that reminds us of Prime Umaga or a young Roman Reigns. So naturally, WWE's brilliant idea is to have him get taken out by someone who has zero connection to any ongoing bloodline storyline. Make it make sense. Where's the logic? Where's the storytelling? Where's the respect for the audience's intelligence? Let's dig deeper into what this attack actually means for both men involved. For Jacob Fatu, this is either going to catapult him into an even more prominent position, because now the bloodline has to respond, now there has to be retribution, now Solo Psycho has to make an example out of someone, or this is going to be forgotten about in 2 weeks because WWE has the attention span of a goldfish when it comes to storyline continuity. Here's a fun exercise: try to remember the last time someone got attacked backstage in WWE and it actually led to a satisfying, well-developed feud that made sense from start to finish. I'll wait. Actually, don't wait, because we'll be here all day trying to remember one. That's the problem. WWE has conditioned us to expect these big shocking moments that ultimately go nowhere. But what about Bron Breakker? What does he gain from this? On the surface, sure, he looks like a badass who just took out one of the most dangerous men in WWE. He gets some heat, he gets his name in the news, he gets people talking. But at what cost? He's now firmly established as someone who can't beat his opponent straight up, who has to resort to cowardly backstage attacks to make an impact. Is that the image WWE wants for their Intercontinental Champion? Is that the legacy they are building for a guy who should be a future world champion? Quick question for you: would you rather see Bron Breakker prove himself by defeating top-tier opponents in competitive matches, or do you prefer him getting wins by attacking people when they are not looking? Hit that comment section and let me know, because I'm genuinely curious if anyone thinks this is good character development. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the Bloodline's response to this attack. If WWE is smart, and that's a big if these days, this should ignite an all-out war. Solo Psycho should be demanding answers. The entire Bloodline should be on a warpath to find out who ordered this hit, because let's be real, nobody believes Bron Breakker woke up one morning and decided on his own to attack Jacob Fatu. Someone had to put him up to this. Someone had to benefit from taking Jacob Fatu out of commission. Could it be Cody Rhodes looking to weaken the Bloodline before their next confrontation? Could it be Centimeter Punk trying to create chaos as he always does? Could it be Triple H himself orchestrating attacks from the corporate office because the Bloodline has become too powerful? Or, and here's the twist nobody's talking about, could it be someone within the Bloodline who wanted Jacob Fatu out of the picture? Could Roman Reigns, from his position of watching everything unfold, have orchestrated this to test Solo Psycho's leadership? Could Jimmy Uso be making moves behind the scenes? The possibilities are endless, but you know what's probably going to happen? None of this will be explained properly. We'll get a thrown-together match at the next premium live event, and then everyone will move on to the next storyline like this never happened. That's the WWE way, and it's exactly why fans are so frustrated right now. Let me hit you with another question: do you think WWE has a long-term plan for this storyline, or are they making it up as they go along? Be honest in the comments. The most infuriating part about this entire situation is the wasted potential. Imagine if WWE had actually built to this moment. Imagine if Bron Breakker had been showing signs of aggression, of jealousy toward the Bloodline's dominance, of frustration with his own position in the company. Imagine if there had been subtle hints, brief confrontations, tension-building segments that made this attack feel like the inevitable explosion of months of storytelling. That's how you do professional wrestling. That's how you create moments that matter. Instead, we get a random attack that comes out of nowhere, with motivations that make zero sense, involving two people who have never interacted before in any meaningful way. It's lazy, it's disrespectful to the performers, and it's insulting to everyone who invests their time and emotion into following these stories week after week. Jacob Fatu deserves better than this. The man is a generational talent, someone who could be headlining WrestleMania if given the proper platform and storylines. Instead, he's being used as a plot device to try and make Bron Breakker seem more dangerous. It's backwards booking at its finest. And before anyone says, just enjoy the show and stop complaining, let me be clear: I want to enjoy the show. I want to be invested in these storylines. But that requires WWE to actually put in the effort to create coherent, logical, emotionally resonant storytelling instead of throwing random moments together and hoping the audience forgets about the lack of substance. Here's what should happen next: Bron Breakker should be forced to explain his actions in a face-to-face confrontation with the entire Bloodline. There should be consequences. There should be a reason that makes sense. And there should be a payoff that justifies this entire angle. But what will probably happen? A couple of backstage segments, maybe a quick match on SmackDown, and then everyone moves on. Final question for you before I wrap this up: on a scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you about this reveal and the way WWE is handling this storyline? Drop that number in the comments. The bottom line is this: Bron Breakker being revealed as Jacob Fatu's attacker could be the start of something incredible if WWE actually commits to proper storytelling. But based on their track record, we're probably in 4 weeks of frustration and disappointment as they fumble yet another opportunity to create something meaningful. What do you think happens next? Is this going to lead to an epic feud, or will it fizzle out like so many WWE storylines before it? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button if this video made you think differently about this situation, and share this with every wrestling fan who needs to understand what's really going on behind WWE's creative decisions.